What's going on, guys? My name's Anthony or Big B Stats, and welcome back to another Roblox Piggy prediction / all secret video for you guys here today. And today we're going to be going over all the secrets in Roblox Piggy Chapter 12, which took place inside of the plant. Also, if you do enjoy the Roblox Piggy videos and predictions, and if you want to stay up to date with what's to come after Piggy, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you do enjoy this as well, make sure to leave a like and share it. Going to be bringing you guys some more videos this week, so be on the lookout for it. And if you want to show your further support, you can always use star code BIGB2 when purchasing Robux. But with that being said, let's get into the secrets that we found in Roblox Piggy Chapter 12. So before we get straight on into it, I do want to say that this video will contain spoilers, again, as I will be going over all the details, the endings. There's also a true ending out there as well, which at the moment of me recording this has not been found, but we will be having a video on the true ending if it exists. That will be out on the channel, so be on the lookout for it. We might possibly do a live stream as well, which we do on the channel, so I appreciate anyone who also tunes in to the live streams that we do, who also have become a member on the channel as well. I want to give a big shout out to you guys for the members on the channel. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. So the secrets we're about to talk about in Piggy Chapter 12, I'm going to start out with the notes, because the notes are also quite important, and they also shed a little bit of light on some things and also adds a mystery to the whole story as well. But before we get straight into the notes, let's talk about how we get into Chapter 12. So Chapter 12 again starts out in the plant. That's where you go to from the outpost, where you follow Mr. P in. And I really like how Chapter 12 literally picked up right on where it left off. Like there was, you just kind of walk forward and it's already going into the chapter basically. And Mr. P is just trying to pretty much take care of what, he thinks that everyone's dead first off, and he's just trying to really understand what's really going on. But Mr. P is evil, and this is technically like a boss fight in a way, I would say. I know when I first started playing the chapter, I thought Mr. P was actually a lot bigger as well. And you also get help from George too. So you have to find apples to give to George, and your job is to make Mr. P kind of snap out of it and realize that you guys are alive. And he's not living in this reality, shall I say. So you have to complete all this, and I thought Chapter 12 was also quite difficult at first, but then once you kind of know where everything is, I think it gets easier a lot. But there's also a lot of notes too, so let's go ahead and talk about the very first note that we discover, which is actually in the red section. And in the red section, this note says, "We should have been more careful when moving our equipment here. I may have come in contact with substance 128. And I feel like this note could have been written by Badgie if possible, because Badgie kind of looks infected in a way, but who actually knows? But that is down in the red hallway room right there. And then we have another note, which is in the orange part. And this note says, "Mrs. P, Sheepy, Bunny. Our initial group is gone. Now the researchers are too. I am truly alone. Mr. P." So, wow. Check that out. So the initial group is gone. So that's something there that's quite interesting too. I don't know if we really discovered what TSP actually means or is, so that's something to also talk about in our prediction videos coming too. Once we kind of, let this kind of sink in for a day or two, and then we can start covering some more stuff, which we might have one out in a day. So we'll have to see. And then there's also another note as well in the underground bit, and this note says, "This is the perfect place to continue our research from the hospital, as this is the source of some of the ingredients we use." So if you didn't notice, throughout the plant, again, this is kind of like a power plant, you see a lot of like the green kind of liquid, shall I say, which I don't know if that's actually the cure, but you do see this. This seems to be, of course, some of the ingredients as well. Like you have the green and the purple, and that's your goal, to get this green valve and this purple valve, and you get the dynamite, and then you kind of blow it up. And there's actually two sections to Chapter 12 as well, which I'll elaborate in the second section after we get through all these notes. And then there's another note in the blue room, and this says, which is actually stuck in the ground too, it says, "Now I am a soulless body, wandering without purpose, fighting without reason." And this note was also written by Mr. P as well, and I think this explains a lot why Mr. P is so, kind of just going crazy, kind of, realizing or thinking everyone is dead and not alive. So that's a note that was definitely written by Mr. P. And then we have one more note written by Mr. P as well, which is in the red room, I believe, in the green section. And this says, I am responsible for everything. I feel everyone's hatred, including my own, towards myself. So Mr. P, and this was written by Mr. P. So Mr. P has pretty much lost it and is off the rails here, shall I say. So it is kind of interesting to see this character. And, you know, we had this perception of Mr. P going into this, and now we realize that Mr. P is actually just really broken down. And how should I say it? He's not just angry, but I mean, he has no idea what's really going on. I almost feel sorry for Mr. P in a way here. So once you actually complete this chapter, I did look around for other secrets in the chapter. I didn't really see much other secrets in here as well. You do see little items here and there from the hospital, which of course that has a lot to do with the research and such things like that. But yeah, so after you complete this, you use the dynamite and then you blow the dynamite up in the middle. And when I was actually playing through with this, I thought the chapter was over. I got so caught off guard as well. Whenever it like turned into another part of the map, I was just like, wait, I didn't realize that was happening. So what happens in the second part of the chapter, some secrets you may have not noticed, is that there's actually about 4 chapters in here as well, which we have chapter 4, 5, 7, and 8, I believe, which there are sections of the map. So you have a section of Carnival in the map, and we kind of get that distorted memory feeling as well. So it's kind of like a trip down memory lane in this second bit, as it's been parts from the maps actually taken and put into this one map here. So we have a section from Carnival, we have a section from Metro, we also have a section from the forest, and we have a section from, I believe, which is going to be the school as well, which is like in the middle with the like at the lunch table as well. And this is also the first time we see a white chest, like a white chest vault, shall I say, a white key vault. So this was quite interesting. And then once you get all the tasks done in each section, what you have to do is you have to get the picture of Mrs. P and show. I really like how in Carnival you're able to get the picture too. So we did get kind of a prediction of we will see some type of Mrs. P in this one. So you got to get the picture and you have to show this to Cyborg Mr. P. And then that is going to break him down basically. And then he's going to realize. So once you get all that, and you show him the picture, he kind of tells you the story. And basically it starts out with him saying, pretty much telling how everything is. It's all coming back to me, I'm sorry. So this is like Mr. P's moment of apologizing. He says he left the hospital with researchers when he thought you were infected. So there you have it. He just confirmed that he left with the researchers. They helped me protect myself, and now I look like this. So the researchers actually helped as well, which is also kind of interesting. And we got to also remember with the note too that the researchers are also gone, just so we just kind of make a mental note of that. And George is really angry about this, and George wants to see his family, like George wants Mr. P to pay basically, and Mr. P is just like, they wanted to help me with my research, basically George Pig's family. And George is like, you took them away from me, you hurt them, now I'm going to hurt you. And George Pig is just really, really angry. It's been an angry character a lot. And then you kind of convince George to say like, hey George, we're better than him. If you hurt him, we'll be just like him. And we give him kind of that speech. And then towards the end of that, we get an opportunity to choose ending. So we did get a chance to choose good ending, bad ending, and then again we have this true ending that's out there floating around. So Mr. P warns you to leave. It's not safe. This place is infested with monsters and such things like that. So you're at the opportunity now to walk out with George Pig, and which is assuming going back to Pony and Zizzy, which is George's original plan, or you can stay with Mr. P as well. So let's talk about the bad ending first. So what happens in the bad ending is if you stay with Mr. P, what happens is that you kind of get a moment where George is like, hey, turn around, look out. And then Badgie comes and hits you. And basically you get infected in the end. Now we'll also go into detail about there's kind of like a 3-minute or so long ending to this, which there's a lot to talk about too, but I want to break down all the pictures as well. So that is the bad ending. You are infected in the end, and then you see Mr. P's hat, and then you just kind of see him infected, which is awesome. And then we have the good ending. If you go out with George, basically it's daylight. Pony is taking out the soldiers, which is awesome. And then Pony's like, oh, you two are finally back. We took care of the soldiers. What about you? And then this is where you tell them we stopped Mr. P. He's no longer a threat, which is also quite cool. And then Zizzy goes on to say, great job, I knew you could do it. So Zizzy and Pony are actually rooting for you again. I don't think Pony is TSP for sure. And then Pony says, I hate to ruin the moment, but where do we go from here? Because it feels like now you've conquered everything, right? Like everything's been done. The chapter's over. And then George has an idea. And George says, what if we look for a cure? So the cure is still out there, which again, this leaves on a cliffhanger, knowing the fact that, you know, the cure is still out there, what kind of happens once the bad ending's through. And then again, I'm looking forward to see the true ending. It's going to be awesome. So let's talk about some of the end pictures too. I'll go into a little bit of detail of each picture. So the first picture that we see is the Piggy family. So of course we have the father Piggy, the mother Piggy, we have George, who's like a baby, and we have Penny, so which is an older picture of the Piggy family, which of course it seems they volunteered as well. So yeah, it's quite unfortunate too what happened to the guy. I gotta say that this was also quite a sad ending. Then we see one in the station, so the ending kind of goes like a memory and kind of pictures and a little bit of a backstory into each chapter. And in that one, we see Doggy and Polly in the police station, which I thought was also quite cool as well. And that's chapter 2 in the station. And then it goes on to the car crash, the police car crash. Or maybe something happened to Polly in this one. Who knows? Then we have Ellie, who's also in the gallery, I believe, which is also quite interesting. And yeah, so that's definitely Ellie in the gallery. And then it also says enjoy your stay at the cabins, which is in the forest. But then we have Doggy, who's also in the forest, that's infected, which is also quite upsetting. Then if we go to the school, something you may notice in the school is that you have the teacher in there, and then we have one of Zizzy's sisters in the school, which I thought was also quite noticed. If you just kind of glance, you maybe think it's Zizzy, which I'm not sure, but it looks like it's one of the students, like one of Zizzy's sisters for sure. And then we have Barry, who is also in the hospital as well, who could have also been in the school too, but I think those books are in the school or the hospital. Then we have Mimi, who's also going in the train station right now, and I think you can see Bull or Billy in the actual train station too, which I thought was quite interesting. So yeah, that's interesting to see Mimi underground as well with Billy, which we know Mimi is Molly Mole and who it tends to be underground. So we had a theory about that too, that Mimi will show up in, you know, the metro. So I'm really glad that we actually saw this picture here. Then if we go over, well, we also see a picture of Bunny in the metro as well, which Bunny seems to appear to be awake in this situation. Then we have Clowny, a picture of Clowny kind of in chapter 8. Then we get a picture of Mrs. P and Grandma's Piggy Poutine. We get a picture of that. And then we also see a picture of Mandy Mouse, who is standing up and also has Roby in the back as well. So this seems to be maybe moments before, you know, the infection as well started happening. All this looks like it's before the infection too. And then we also have the soldiers as well, which they show, the helicopter. And then in the end, the final picture that we see is a happy Mr. P and Bunny in the end as partners in crime. So yeah, this has been an amazing chapter, guys, and these are pretty much some of the secrets and a little bit of backstory on everything as well. Again, we'll be working on the true ending, so be on the lookout for that one. But let me know how you guys enjoyed the chapter. I thought this was amazing and I had a lot of fun playing it. But if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share it. Also feel free to subscribe for more, and if you're new to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.